Hi, welcome to another edition of Zoo Tales. I'm Matt Patterson with the Oklahoman, and today I'm joined by Tara Henson and Erica Buckwalter. How are you guys? And also we have one more guest with us today.
This is Olivia, and she's an Eastern screech owl.
Look how beautiful she is.
Yeah, she's very mellow today, it seems like.
Talk about getting upstaged right off the bat. Thanks, Olivia.
Can you tell us a little bit about Olivia and where she comes from?
She is the kind of owl that you can find right here in Oklahoma, across the United States. She's got a beautiful coloration. If I kind of turn her around, she looks very much like a tree. And as you get out west, the interesting thing is they are actually more orange colored because the trees change colors out there.
Hey.
So that's pretty cool. She's pretty good at camouflaging. She does look like a tiny little baby, but this is actually as big as she gets.
Huh.
She's full grown.
She's full grown.
So Erica is one of our naturalist instructors, and she clearly knows a lot about a lot of different animals. And Olivia is one of the cool animals you can meet, not when you come just to a general visit to the zoo, but when you come to the zoo for an education program, or sometimes Olivia travels via the Zoomobile to schools and special places to meet people.
And where does the screech part of the screech owl come from?
Funny thing, most owls go hoo hoo hoo.
You do
she
that.
makes.
I'll pass on that.
She makes a hoo hoo sound, or she doesn't make the hoo hoo. She makes a kind of like a whinny, like a, and then she also makes a very screechy sound when she's not happy.
Okay.
We hope we don't have to hear the screechy.
Yes.
No.
Not. And they're not native to Oklahoma. They're oh, they are.
Yeah,
okay.
all across the United States, and they just change color variation.
Okay. And how much does she weigh? She looks pretty small.
I would have to guess less than 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I could like hold her there for a while. She's not that heavy.
And as Tara mentioned, this is part of the zoo's education outreach. Talk a little bit about what's available for people if they're interested in that.
Exactly. We do a lot of different kinds of outreach. We go to schools, preschools, we go to nursing homes. We have an awesome grant program through our Oklahoma Zoological Society. And so people, if they think that they might not have enough money to come out or have the zoo come to them, they can apply for those grants. We go as far as like 4.5 hours away. We go up to the Panhandle, we go almost to Arkansas, but what we do is reach everybody possible in Oklahoma.
That grant is called Zoo Fund for Kids, and you can go online to the zoo's website and check that out, and a lot of people are actually eligible for that, and so it's a great resource for teachers to know about, especially if they don't have the budget to either bring the kids to the zoo, and the zoo's a classroom in and of itself in a really great way, but it gives them an opportunity to come and experience the zoo, or the zoo to come and see them when they may not have a travel budget and that sort of thing.
And do you find encourages people that may live outside of the Oklahoma City area to come back and visit the zoo and get kind of the more full experience? Does that happen?
Kids definitely. Kids are like, oh, Miss Erica, I'm going to come see you. Or they will see me on zoo grounds and be like, hi, Miss Erica. And I'm like, yeah, hi, little one. How are you? They're like, you came to my school. I'm like, yes, I did. Nice to see you again.
And it's not just for kids, right?
No, not at all.
Something I'm super excited about, and Erica has been a driving force behind this, is that she's created new curriculum that appeals to young adults especially. And we do have programs for toddlers all the way up to, 90, 100-year-olds, whatever is fun for you. But I'd love for Erica to share about that, because we had, let me start off. We have zoo snoozes, which are sleepovers at the zoo, which is great. You do all these cool activities. They're usually organized like scout troops or sometimes families, that sort of thing. You actually spend the night at the zoo and do a bunch of cool stuff. Well, we would post something about that on social media, and it started getting a little more traction where young adults would say, how come the kids get to have all the fun? Things like that. And I'd start saying, what? Hey, education, why are the kids having all the fun? So Erica, and along with the education crew, said, you know what, let's look at things like maybe our first ever adult sleepover at the zoo, which they did recently.
Yes, we did. We actually started out doing game nights. So we did like a scavenger hunt and trivia nights. And once I started to build up my clientele for that, and they were really engaged in my education programs, I'm like, well, let's throw that sleepover in there. And so we actually had 69 adults come and stay the night at the zoo. 2 of them left because the kiddo got sick, but they raved about it. And during that specific Suze, it's called Saving Animals from Extinction. We have normally the kids dress up in costumes like a gorilla or a whale or a shark or something like that. And these adults got up there and dressed up and loved it.
So it's they're kind of disarmed almost immediately by being at the zoo. You're
Oh,
kind of like a kid again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, and something that's great about the Sleepover, for instance, is that you're at the zoo at a time when nobody else is. I mean, you're coming to visit when it's quiet out on zoo grounds, and you get a chance to go out, and they go out on night hikes, and so you get a chance to see some of the animals that are either more lively at night because they're nocturnal, or maybe you get a chance to see them while they're asleep. And of course, they have special lights, you know, red gel, I don't know, coats on the light so that we don't disturb the animals. And it's really cool. There's nowhere else you can go and get that kind of experience where, you know, you're hearing native wildlife as well as our wildlife. You know, something's howling, something's screeching, something's, you know, a sea lion might be barking, and then you're also out exploring, and it's fantastic.
Makes the little hairs on your arms stick up.
Yeah.
This is true. I wasn't going to add that part.
But it's out of excitement.
No, I know.
Do you have to alter the program at all for adults just to keep their interest level, or is it just basically kind of very similar?
They are just so exciting. So what we do, like for general, we would make sure that the program is appropriate for all ages that attend the general admission one. For the adults, we can talk about more exciting things. You know, we can talk about, during the Safe Snooze, we can talk about poaching more, or, you know, habitat loss and things like that to a higher degree than you would for a children's show. But other than that, you know, it's the same content around.
And they have a chance to meet animals like Olivia too,
That's
I guess.
right.
Yep.
And while we're talking about that, I know we brought another guest, and I know you're going to bring that guest out here shortly, but what you see in front of you is also super cool. These are biofacts. We are also called teaching aids or teaching tools. And I know, Erica, if you want to give Olivia a break, then we could talk a little bit about this, but these are the types of tools that our education team utilizes to enhance the education experience. And they go out, we have volunteers who also go out on zoo grounds periodically, and they'll take some of these biofacts, like this is a sea turtle, and I know, and then a tiger here, that Erica's going to explain a lot more about this. One of the #1 questions, of course, is, well, where did you get that? And they are real, but and I want Erica to give the message that she always gives about it. But it's another chance for us to talk about adaptations or camouflage, or truly connect people with the animals that we're saving or helping to save. Or, you know, it's a lot more exciting, clearly, to learn a little bit more about a tiger when you get a chance to touch, you know, to touch the tiger's fur and that sort of thing. And these, of course, are all naturally occurring situations where we're able to utilize these teaching tools. Oh, look, that's a surprise. I didn't know you brought him.
Yeah. So this is Pascal. Pascal is a prehensile-tailed skink, and she did make a appearance at my adult program. We brought out all prehensile-tailed animals. We brought a possum, we brought her, and we brought somebody else that I can't remember. But they got to read a lot of cool animals. But back to these biofacts that we have here, you know, like Tara was saying, a lot of people wonder, like, well, how did you get those? You know, did you hurt the animal or something to that effect? The way that I talk about it is, at the zoo, we have a plethora of animals, and passing away is just a part of the life cycle.
Right.
So what happens is when these animals pass away, I say that they donate their bodies to education. Just like we would donate our bodies to science after we pass away, they leave their bodies behind so we can connect people with them even after they're gone, and then make them ambassadors for the species out in the wild.
And that's kind of similar. Bom Bom, the Lowlands gorilla, that's at the Sam Noble Museum at OU, and Mei Li is also at the Sam Noble Museum, and she will be eventually displayed.
Yeah, so we have partnerships with Sam Noble, which is, they're a great partner, and it just allows us to, the legacy of that animal can live on, or the legacy of that species can live on, and that's really important for us to be able to teach that lesson. And it's a very respectful way for us to be able to educate people, but this guy is really cool.
Yeah.
You can't beat a live animal, right?
I'm sorry, you have to go back. This is Pascal, right?
Yes, so Pascal, Solomon Island skink, or a prehensile-tailed skink, because this monkey-like tail that they have. So they're only endemic to the Solomon Islands, and it is a rainforest there. So they've got things on their body that help them adapt to living there. They've got great coloration to help them blend into the trees. And you can see I've got these gloves on.
Oh, it's starting to turn.
Yeah? Looking a little bit darker color.
Wait, the zoo person just said that. You see, I'm excited.
Excitement, right?
No, I don't get to come down to education classes all the time.
I know. This is why I love my job.
Right?
So she's got these awesome claws on her body, so these gloves are to protect my hands. Not that she wants to hurt me, it's just that she's got good climbing claws. So she's got those to help her hang on to branches, and she also has a tail to help her wrap around so that she doesn't happen to fall off. Now, most lizards that we think of, you would think they eat bugs, right?
Right.
Most of them do. She is a herbivore. She's only going to eat vegetables. She's only going to eat leaves and things like that. But she does have a pretty nasty bite if an animal comes up and tries to get her. So she has a good way of protecting herself.
A little defense mechanism.
Exactly.
You mentioned she can't rainforest. That's where are they endangered at all, or is there
a lot of rainforest animals are threatened? I'm not sure of her specific status, but anything that lives in a tree, is in jeopardy.
Right.
And a lot of times we think of those big flagship species like orangutans and tigers and things like that. Elephants.
Rhinos, yeah.
When we save those large animals, we save animals like this too because they live there. So we use those big flagship species to help out these guys too.
And I think a lot of people don't really think of it that
Right.
way. I think that mostly it's usually they're thinking we're going to save, the orangutan or a tiger. Or,
Yeah, it's I think of it like a big umbrella.
Right.
So the rhino or the elephant is like the big umbrella, and underneath that umbrella are all these different species that we either don't know about, scientists may not even know about them, or they're unique, or maybe they're not the warm fuzzies that so many people connect to. But I mean, look at Pascal, breaming with personality.
yeah.
And is a very cool animal. And that's the great thing about these education programs too, is that we have a variety of animals that you can meet, that you can only meet through the education programs, and then also have the zoo right there at your fingertips, except for the zoo mobiles. And I did want to point out a lot of libraries and smaller communities partner with the zoo and do programs, and they're some of the most well-attended programs that they do because they're super excited to have the zoo come to town, and we're super excited to be able to come there. And like Erica said, about a 4-hour away range, that hits a lot of
Yeah,
communities.
that's a good range for you guys. If people are interested, how do they, in the adult programs especially, and obviously the kids too, how do they get hooked up with that?
Well, there's a couple of great ways. I mean, one great resource is our website, okczoo.com. Another, you can sign up on the website. You can get an RSS feed, check out things that are going on, or sign up to get notifications of things that are going on. And if you're a Zoo Friends member, you're already going to get stuff in your Zoo Sounds, and they find out about programs before non-members do. And but people start catching on. They start thinking about, oh, we did that last year, or my neighbor, her child went to that, or my college-age son went to the sleepover, so I'm going to start looking to see what's coming up. So once the word gets out about certain programs, people start looking at the obvious places. They can also call the zoo and call the education department and ask specifically, that's a little tough to say today, about programs, but we'll keep them educated and informed on social media as well. And occasionally, this is kind of a little thing we do, but occasionally we'll give away an entry into a program. So we always suggest that you check out, if you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, kind of check that out because it's a chance for somebody to get a little gift and be surprised by that. You have some programs coming up for January. Oh, you'll have to tell me.
Yep, January 30th, I have our sketch and guest night for adults, so like a Pictionary style kind of program, so that should be fun. February is our Romancing the Zoo. We did it last year, and it was a huge deal, but it's basically all about how animals mate.
Okay, so there are some things that are a little bit more mature audiences, and that is one of the more interesting subject matters that people always want to know about. So it's fun.
But this is something fun. The weather's not great this time of year, but you guys can still educate and have fun.
Well, we can absolutely accommodate too. You know what? If the weather turns a little rough, as long as we can get to the education building, or if school is out, it's already a planned day for schools to be out, the education team generally will have day camps, and those are for 4 years to
4 to 12.
like 12, yeah, to 12 years, and they offer a half-day option to a full-day option, which is great. And they know what they're doing. They have the live animals that they can bring out. They have quiet time for kids to have choices on things that they want to do. They have group activities. They have a chance to run off energy. Even if it's icky outside, the education facility is so big that there's a lot of fun things that they can do. And then we have all this great staff that sometimes will come and visit. Nobody ever wants to see the PR person. I'm not nearly as much fun.
I like you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
As the keepers and whatnot. But great prices, great price points. So we'd really love for people to check that out and come meet really cool animals. Well, just like Erica.
Yeah.
Like the coolest animal.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Tara Henson and Erica Buckwalter, thanks for joining us today, and I guess we'll see you at the zoo.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks.